Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make Mr. Peterson's house from the game Hello Neighbor. This is specifically the pre-alpha version of the house. Here are all of the materials that you will need to make your pre-alpha house. Please do make sure that you have access to all of those materials and enough of them as well. And now that we have all of our stuff, we can get started. So the first thing that we are going to have to do when making our house is lay the foundation. This begins by placing a single terracotta on the ground. We then want to extend it backwards by 2. 1, 2. We then want to go right by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We then want to go forwards by 1. Right 1, forwards by 1, and then right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We then want to go back 1, right 1, and then back by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then want to go right by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we want to take a sideways view of our build, and we want to go backwards by the same amount, which is 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then extend towards you by 2. 1, 2. Go right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Extend inwards 1. Right by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take a sideways view again, so we're looking back on our build, and extend across the back of the build by 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We then want to extend towards us by 1, and then we want to go right by 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I do believe that we want to take a sideways view of our build again. And we want to take that 11th block and extend towards the front of the build by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We then want to extend towards us by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we want to go right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then want to extend towards us by 3. 1, 2, 3. Right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We then want to go inwards by 2. 1, 2. And then right by 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you will notice, hopefully, if everything has been done correctly, that 7th block should line up with where we first started. And this is the floor plan for the build. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So now that we kind of have the floor plan laid out, we have a lot of things to do. So we have to build up the walls, and the walls are quite often all different shapes and sizes, so you're in for the long haul here. From the last terracotta that we placed, which is right here, the frontist leftist terracotta that we have, we want to place 15 light blue concrete on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We then want to extend that 15th block across to the right, and the point is to extend it back down to where we very first started. So funnily enough, we're somewhat bridging the gap between where we first started and where we left off. So now we have created that shape, what we now want to do is work our way all the way over to this position. So you may remember earlier when we very first started, we began extending right shortly after we extended backwards. We extended all the way to the right here, and what I want you to do is left of this block, so we're 1 row inwards here, I want you to place a row of 22 light blue extending up from this position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I then want you to extend left by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be 8 there. And then we want to extend downwards. So The point is we want to connect to the area that we just made, because a lot of these shapes that we're making are meant to connect together. We're just making the outlines of them for now. So now that we have made our latest shape, which is this one, we now want to move slightly over to the right of where we started. So we want to go right, and then we want to go forwards. We actually want to start in this position right here, which is just diagonal from where we were just building. And on top of this particular terracotta block, I want you to place 15 light blue concrete. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're then going to take that 15th block and extend right by 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That 16th block can then get extended down by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we want to extend left by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we should be able to just connect down to the lower part of the build. So what we have there is a big giant shape. And what we then want to do is we want to take this little area in front of it, so where we have this row of horizontal terracotta that kind of sticks out, we want to take either side, either this corner or that corner, and we want to place 11 light blue concrete on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, to which you can then, this is why it didn't matter where you started, you just want to extend it across and down. So we want to end up with a shape that should look like this. As I mentioned, it's a bit of a complicated house, so you've got to be prepared to make a lot of weird shapes and have them connect in different ways. The next thing that we're going to do now is we're going to extend to the right side of the build, and we are going to start building here. So I think that the first thing that we will do is we will tackle this part of the build that kind of sticks out a little bit. It's the most outward part of the right side, and on top of here we want to make an area, and we want to place 21 light blue concretes on top of the left and right side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And we can just extend that across, and I don't know how many down, so we're going to extend from the bottom up rather than just guessing, and we just want to create this shape here. And the cool thing about this shape is that we can now take what we have on the front here, and we can take the corners, the top two corners of this, and it will just connect to the area that we've just made. As I mentioned, all of this pretty much connects together in some sort of way, so you'll see that this is what we should have at the moment. And what's also relevant about the area that we just made, so we built all the way up to the top here, didn't we? Well, we want to take this top right-hand light blue concrete block here, and we want to extend it to the left by 2. 1, 2. We then want to extend it upwards by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we want to extend left by 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're then going to extend downwards by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. And we actually want to extend some way across the build. Now, this will actually connect to kind of where the entrance area is here, which is the second largest now row of light blue concrete that we have. So again, it all kind of connects together. This kind of looks like a modern art project at the moment. So that's what we want to have so far, and we will be working on all of the details of this later. Coming back to the right hand side, as we're working our way clockwise, I guess, what we now want to do is come to the very back right hand corner, which is right here, and we want to place a row of 8 light blue concrete extending upwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We then want to extend back out of the back by 2. 1, 2, like this. And then we actually want to extend this 2 different ways. So first of all, we can extend across to the right by 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then this will actually, the 17th block, it will actually extend inwards. But then you can take the 17th block as well. It actually wants to be as high as the row that we have here, so it's easier if we probably do it from this perspective, if we start from this block here and we just make sure that it matches up. So you can even extend it forwards as well, like this. I think, yep, we can take that 17th block and we can extend it forwards and it can join this way. You see, a lot of the house actually follows the shape of the base, so like here, the blue concrete is going to get extended upwards and it'll actually hit that top row of blue that we have over there. So again, it might all seem very, very confusing at the moment, and I'm very sorry if it does, but it will get way, way better and way, way easier, and it'll make way more sense as we progress on. So the next thing that we are going to do, and I'll tell you what, we can actually take this row of 17 that we extended forwards, we can extend it all the way over to the right as well, and it'll actually help us out a little bit. Destroy that. And it'll actually help us out a little bit because we want to have this terracotta here, when it kind of like extends out, this terracotta we want to have light blue concrete, and it wants to extend up and it wants to join, and it actually wants to join and it wants to be as high as the rest of the row there. You can see we've just placed a row behind it. And this, we also want to place a row of light blue concrete extending from this corner, which will be able to join it. So if you can just imagine, it's the same thing that we've done, except it was semi-hidden by what we had already made. It's basically like a big solid wall, but it just sits one row backwards from what we have just made. We can extend the top of this as well. We can extend the top of this forwards, and we can join it down to the foundation that we have below us. And as a matter of fact, we can do that in this position here, but we can also do the same thing here as well. We can extend it forwards we can extend it out to the right a little bit, and it can join down in this way. This also wants to be as high here as well, so we have a small wall here. Well, it's not exactly small, it's very tall, but it's a thin wall, and it wants to extend here. And I do believe that this particular part of the wall as well, this light blue concrete, this top corner here wants to be extended inwards, and it at least wants to be able to connect to the front part of the house. This is actually going to form a little wall. I don't know if there's a window here, but there is certainly a roof, so you can hopefully see what we have just managed to achieve there. Now, the next thing is we want to take this area here. This area actually isn't as tall as the other areas. So what we can begin by doing is we can take the top corner of this as the garage area. We can take this corner, extend it backwards, and we can join it back down to this corner. So this is the side of the garage here. And then this side part is actually a different height all by itself. So this last remaining little area that we have here, which just involves us raising up these 2 outward corners of terracotta, this is actually just 1 row higher than the area that we just extended. So just from the back of the garage here, this is the little area that we just had extended. And this is actually what we will have part of the roof extend from the top of this point. Whoops, hang on. So there we go. So as you can see, as long as it's just 1 row higher, I mean, you can even extend it inwards a little bit. You can even extend this corner inwards as well. Like if you want to kind of like imagine to yourselves how it's all going to join together, there's actually going to be a roof that starts here. So that's why that has to be higher. The roof will all just join together. And once you've done it, I mean, as I said, this is kind of like a modern art project. It's kind of like a big giant abstract work here, but this is exactly what we want to have, and it's gonna make way, way more sense once we do actually did a little random spin there, once we actually start adding details to it, which I think is what we're going to be doing next. So why don't we systematically add all of the windows in so we can do actually some more filling. Let us start with the garage, since I think of this as the most leftist point of the build, the most frontist and leftist point of the build. So, the garage. We're going to start off by placing quartz stairs 1 row inwards in between the frame of the garage. So, quartz stairs here. We want to place 4 rows of them in total. So that would be 1 row, 2, 3, and 4, with a row of light blue concrete just above, like this. I want you to make some holes in the top row of the garage, every other block to be precise. So from the side, stair, gap, stair, gap, stair, gap. You guys get the idea. So now that we have framed the garage a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, by placing part of the garage door and putting a ruler across the top of it in the form of light blue concrete, what I think that we're going to do is we are going to completely fill the house in using light blue concrete. I think that it will be way easier to carve details into the build once we have completely filled it in with light blue concrete. Instead of trying to build the windows in and around it, build them into it. So now that we have filled in just above the garage, we're going to systematically work our way around clockwise, and we're just going to fill in every single part of the house using light blue concrete, because there actually isn't a huge amount of windows present on the build anyway. So hopefully a lot of this is going to be quite self-evident, where you've got to place all of the light blue where it gets filled in and such. So now we're working on the entrance. This is where the entrance will be. There's going to be a porch, there's going to be a couple of doors, there's actually even going to be a little bit of a window, a nice overhang. It's going to look pretty good. And we just want to, this connects to the garage on the left, right there, so it forms quite a solid closed area, and it also connects just on the right, and the right is actually a little bit of a different shape altogether. It's one of the more interesting shapes of the build. So as you can see, that's the garage area, that is the area for the entrance. We're going to fill this outward part in here. This is a small part of the build. This is on the right side. I do believe that this allows you to peek into Mr. Peterson's living room. I do believe it's got quite a large window, a few single windows in the middle, and then a large one on the top. It just wants to look like this. And once you've filled this in, it's quite easy to see that you just fill the area in just directly behind it, pretty much. You just directly fill the area in behind it and around it, so you kind of get this cool depth effect that I really like with the house. As a matter of fact, it's a very interesting designed house altogether. It's a really nice use of depth and different heights and stuff. So you can see that's how it's filled in at the moment. What we then want to do is we want to take this area just behind here, and this is ever so slightly more complicated. We're going to begin by filling in this upper part using light blue concrete. So this is the extension of the large area that kind of just floats off of the ground, and I'll actually show you where we have to add some oak planks in as well, because it is kind of floating at the moment, but there is actually a support. So once you've filled that in with light blue, you actually want to take this corner and you want to place oak planks kind of like joining down like this. There we go, that's great. Underneath this actually wants to be pretty much filled in using light blue concrete, and the reason being is as we adhere to the floor plan of the build, and the floor plan is all of the terracotta that we have on the floor, we want to make a curved room around this area. So now that we've filled like the base of this in, we want to kind of like join the terracotta upwards to the base of the area that we kind of just filled in a little bit. So you can kind of see like this. And this area, a lot of the parts of the build that we're making here are actually missing roofs as well. That will help to shape things quite a lot better. Everything is obviously going to look very plain whilst we have just light blue concrete, whilst it's just made up of big giant light blue concrete blocks. But once we do add the roofs, once we add all of the windows and stuff, it'll really start coming into its own. So you can see how that part of the build is put together. That looks great. This area here has to be completely filled in with light blue concrete as well. This is very simple. There is actually more detail on this side as well, but I suppose that we'll save the details for later. As I mentioned, we may as well save all of the windows, and there's, oddly enough, it's kind of strange, there's a couple of balconies and stuff around the build as well, so we'll be adding those later too. So let's just add all of this light blue concrete here. that is looking great. But that's not the only place that we have to add the light blue concrete. We're actually going to have to fill in it's not all of it, so I'm quite hesitant to do it now, but this upper part that kind of sticks up, this certainly wants to be filled in with light blue concrete right here, and it actually also wants to get extended backwards as well, funnily enough. I guess we never did that. So this part that kind of like is like extended upwards, it actually wants to extend backwards. It pretty much in an equal amount to here, so like we want to take the top of this and we want to extend it back by, I don't know how many blocks that is, you don't have to count it. It wants to extend back by at least the amount that kind of like juts out, so it kind of follows this shape, and then we can take the top two corners and we can extend them, and we have to extend the walls around as well, because we have to connect a roof to this part later using slabs, and it's much easier if we actually do build up the walls, despite the fact that these slabs will cover up the majority of it. It's just easier if they're in place, so we can cover up all of this, and the roof will also cover, it'll actually cover up a lot of the empty space that we have up at the top of the build, so we'll just leave it like that at the moment. When it comes to the next part, so this area here on the right, this all wants to be filled in with light blue concrete as well. This is all quite easy to do too, because it's just, there's no complication with this whatsoever. This is just simply again, I wish that we had like the Microsoft Paint can that we could just hit and we could just fill it all in. It'd actually make this a lot easier. We're going to have a couple of windows back here as well, but the pre-alpha house has nowhere near as much detail as any of the other versions of the house. Honestly, it's a big house, it's a cool house, it's an awesome structure, but it doesn't have a lot of the detail. This back part here, this can all be completely filled in with light blue concrete. We'll also have to fill underneath it as well using light blue concrete, and there's a bit of an interesting depth trick there as well. So we'll be raising it up from the terracotta base, and then we'll be joining it across to the bottom, so kind of like what we did with the front right side of the build over there, where we have that big giant platform on the inside of the house now, that we made way too big, but hey, you know, whatever. We have to do a similar thing here, but just on a slightly smaller scale. So we have that, and then we want to extend the bottom of this inwards by just 2 rows, I do believe. Yeah, just a couple of rows, and then we can raise up this terracotta area here just to meet it. And I'm very much looking forward to adding the details to this build. I know that I keep saying that, but I really think it's going to look so much better as soon as we start adding windows, as soon as we add the porch, as soon as we add the roof. It is going to look so much better. So we want to have, so far, just a big chunk of light blue pretty much just on the back of the build. This part is very easy to fill in too. This is so simple. We just raise up the base and it extends all the way up to the top. Nothing more. As a matter of fact, on this particular part of the build as well, there is only a small window just on the right side of this, and actually there's even less on that side too. There's actually just an even smaller window. So a lot of this build is particularly blank, and you can get a very good look at it from inside the game if you guys have it. It's actually free on Steam. I don't know about any other platforms, but if you have PC and you kind of want to go and take a look at some of the Hello Neighbour houses that we're actually making, some of Mr. Peterson's house, you will actually be able to see that they're actually a pretty good match. I mean, they're obviously not perfect, but I've been trying to make them as close as actually possible. This complete side of the house here is all going to be filled in a very straightforward, very logical manner as well. It's all just we're just filling in the shapes. There's nothing that has to really connect to anything in a particularly weird or awkward way. We just have to fill all of these in. But on this side of the build, there's one of those weird balconies that I talked about. There's some support structure as well in the form of some oak slabs and some oak stairs and stuff. I do believe that I might possibly use as well towards the top of the roof and under the balcony, but pretty much, there's also a side entrance as well, which we will be making too. And like I said, I mean, I tried my absolute best to try and make this as close to the actual build as I possibly can. Some, not absolutely everything obviously is even possible to add in terms of detail without making the house to a ridiculous scale. But hopefully you should be able to, you know, on inspection, be able to identify which particular version of this house it is. And honestly, it's one of my sort of favorite designs, because it's still quite simple, but it's just got that like extra level of interesting. So before things take a very, very weird turn with Hello Neighbour, before we start getting like tram lines and stuff on the outside the building, big giant like windmill looking things. So it's still a house that just looks like a house. It's just kind of like big and interesting is what I'm trying to get at before we start getting into like insane person territory. So all of this is just getting filled in with light blue, of course, all the way up to the top here. We just have to fill this little gap in here. It's very easy to miss these little gaps, and we also have to just do the same. Also, just before we fill this side in, if you add a row of light blue concrete on top of the garage door, that will stop any sort of gaps that may appear otherwise. So just a row of light blue concrete directly on top. All of this can be filled in using light blue concrete as well, just like this. And we want to have something which should look like that. So like that. We've got a big giant gap here that's going to be solved later. This and everything else is rather self-evident on how you fill it in. So it's not that interesting to look at the left side of the build, but the front and right side can be a little bit tricky. So once you yourself have managed to attain this shape, and it's looking a little bit less like a modern art project and a little bit more like the base of a house, what we're now going to do is we are going to add details, of course. So, and in a similar sort of manner to how we've built the rest of the house, we're going to start above the garage, and we'll work our way around clockwise. Above the garage door, we want to leave a row of 4. So if you come to the left side of the garage door here, and if you actually move one row inwards, so we're above where one of the gaps are in the garage door, you want to move up and you want to find the 5th row in. So this would be the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Destroy a block. Destroy 4 more going right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Destroy a row above. Leave a gap of 2. 1, 2. Starting from the left, destroy a block, gap, destroy a block, gap, destroy a block. Destroy a row above. These are the windows above the garage. Hopefully it's quite easy to place those. So all you have to do is place some white stained glass pane inside of all of the empty space that we have just made, that we've just made by destroying into the garage door or wall. What we now want to do is we want to place 2 more windows, except we're going to do them above the entrance area. So the windows are actually in the same position as they are on the garage. So if you follow the windows across from the garage, just above the entrance where we're here, and you find the 3rd row in, I do believe, so this would be the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, no, it'll be the 4th, so 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and you destroy a single double height area above where the entrance would be. We want to have 2 windows, just like that. We also want to have, it's a pretty interesting part of the build as well, just all the way up at the top here. If you come all the way up to the top front right hand corner of the kind of like entrance area, and you move to the left by 1, 2, 3, destroy 2 blocks, 2 underneath. We actually need another material. We're actually going to get rid of, for the moment, quartz stairs, and we're going to grab white stained glass. We're going to fill this little area in using white stained glass block. Underneath this, we want to be able to place a double door. We then want to place a little balcony. The balcony actually spans just underneath the door, extending outwards, bottom right of the door, and the oak slab extends 1, 2, 3 left. It's actually going to be, will we extend it 4? We'll go 4. We want to have it extend 1 row outwards, and we want to place oak fence around the edge of the balcony. So it wants to look a little something like this. We also want to have a pretty decent amount of detail down here at the bottom of the entrance as well. So down here at the bottom of the entrance, we want to, starting from the right side, we want to leave a gap of 2, so 1, 2, and then we want to be able to place a double door here. We then want to leave a gap of 1 and place a quartz slab extending outwards from this wall with 2 spaces above it, and we want to place some glass pane inside here. We may even add a little bit of glass above the door as well, some proper glass block. What we're now going to do is we're going to make a little bit of a balcony area. So the easiest way to do this is in front of the doorway, I want you to place 2 rows of oak planks, a row of oak slabs in front of the planks. Place terracotta left of these slabs. We want to place 1, 2, 3 on the left and 1, 2 on the right. Extend backwards and join back to the build. And then we want to place fence around them, like this. We should even fill the actual inside of this in using oak planks as well. And then we want to take the 2 corners and we want to place oak fence on the front left corner and 2 oak fence on the front right hand corner, like this. So this is what we want to have at the moment, and later on we'll be adding a little roof to that, but that will be a little bit later on. We're now going to work on this area here, which is the area that I mentioned. It's kind of like where you'll be able to see into the living room. So if you start from the bottom, the light blue concrete, and you move to the right and then up, destroy, and then destroy 4 more rows right, 1, 2, 3, 4, destroy a row above. This is going to create a large window, like this. We then want to leave a gap of 2 between the large window, so 1, 2, and then we want to, starting from the left, we want to destroy, gap, destroy, and then destroy a row above all of the gaps as well. So we want to make a set of 3 double height windows. We then want to leave a gap of 2 here. We're going to leave a gap of 2, and then we're actually going to have the exact same window that we have down below, but just up at the top. So it's actually quite symmetrical, and later on we will be adding, we might even have to add another row of blue concrete just above this. It's very possible that I might have got the measurement wrong at the start. We want to have something that should look a little bit like that, but no harm, no foul. That's what we want to have there. Not only do we want to have windows here, but we want to have windows here as well. So the easiest way to find this is to come all the way down to the bottom right hand corner with where the oak planks touch the light blue concrete. We want to move up and left, destroy, leave a gap of 2 going left, and then destroy 1, 2, 3. Destroy a row above all of these gaps. Starting from the first window, we want to leave a gap of 2 above it, so that's 1, 2, then destroy, gap of 1, destroy, gap of 1, destroy, and then destroy another row above it. So quite a complicated little set of windows there, but all of these of course want to be filled in using the white stained glass pane as well. That isn't the only set of windows that we want to have on this particular part of the build though. We also want to have a couple of windows up here pretty much. So we want to take this kind of like corner of the window, which is right here, and we want to extend upwards. And what's tricky is we kind of want to extend upwards from this corner, and then we just want to mark out this area with a glass pane, and then we want to leave a gap of 1 glass pane, and then we want to place a glass pane on top. So you can't really tell that they're windows exactly right now, but you can if you place a little bit of light blue concrete. When we do all of the roofs, that'll of course look way better, but for now that's kind of what we're working with right now. There's also a window in this kind of general vicinity here. There's a window as we face the building here, like it's like as we look at this little area, it's actually right in the middle, and the easiest way to place it, if you start from the left here, you move inwards 1, 2, move up 1, destroy 2 going right, and above, boom, there you go. That's a little 2x3 window. So for the moment, this is what we have going on. So like if you count this as the front part of the build, and honestly we should also do this part here as well, since it's like part of the front facing aesthetic of the house. So if we start up at the top front right hand corner of this part, that's the highest part of the build, and you start here and you move left by 1, 2, 3, we want to move down and destroy a block and the one left of it, destroy a row underneath, and then destroy 2 rows underneath that. So you've got like almost like a column, just like this. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that when we add the roof in, we may have to adjust things, but we're going to place doors here, and we're actually going to use because this is the weird window. This is the, you guys might be familiar with this. This is like the weird green window area. You just want to place a little bit of lime glass, and underneath where we have the doors here, we're just going to place a little balcony. So the balcony is actually going to extend right of the doorway by 1 on the right side and 2 of the doorway on the left side, and we're just going to extend the oak slabs outwards, and we'll place oak fence around it. So it does have its own little balcony, and this is what I mean. This is the view that we have from the front. That's all of the detail that we really need to distract ourselves with on the front right now. That's all we have to focus on at the moment. That's looking pretty good. Now we're going to come to the right hand side, and there's actually not as much detail anywhere near as much as there is on the front. So when it comes to this side, still working our way around kind of like clockwise, we have a little window here, and we start from the bottom left hand corner. We move right by 2, so that's 1, 2. We move up, we destroy a block, 2 to the right, an entire row above, and this is all going to be filled in using white stained glass pane, and that's just a little window there. We actually have a very similar window here just to the right as well. We start from the bottom left hand corner, we move inwards by 2, up by 1, destroy, move right by 2, and destroy a row above, and that's as easy as it gets. It's pretty much the exact same window, just shifted over to the right there a little bit. We also have a few more windows. So if we start from this area, we start from this bottom left hand corner here, we move to the right by 2, but now upwards by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, destroy, leave a gap to going right, destroy above these 2 windows. We then want to take the space in between the windows, and we want to leave a gap of 2, so like a gap of 2, and then in this third block we're going to destroy 2 blocks to the right, like this. And this is the windows that we have on the right side of the build, and we can just fill all of these in using some white stained glass pane. But this isn't where this ends on the right side of the build. There is a little bit of a balcony situation. It's not even a balcony, actually. It's just like I'm going to be honest, I don't know why it is exactly. It's just like a part of the house that kind of sticks out a little bit. And where we have these little single windows here, we want to place a row of light blue concrete that kind of just almost like an armband kind of just sits around the part of the house that sticks out a little bit. And we want to place a row of light blue concrete on top of this. And for whatever reason this exists. It's not a balcony. I'm pretty sure there's nothing above it. I'm pretty sure it's blank wall. It just sticks out. It is what it is. What we now want to do is we want to come to the back of the house. And that's something that we should do. We should actually, underneath this, there is some supports. If you place a row of 3 oak fence just like above where the window is, but obviously below like the little balcony-ish sort of thing, that is just a good little bit of detail to add to it. As we now move on to the back of the house, we have a little small window for this big giant space. If you start on the right hand side here and you move across to the left by 1, 2, 3, and you move up 1, destroy, and the block above it, there is a small little window that allows you to peer into the house. You could even add like a little quartz slab if you wanted to as a little windowsill. Underneath this very large area, we have some oak wood supports. So if you, like where the window is, if you come all the way up to the top here and you place yourself an oak slab, leave a gap, or leave a gap of 2, oak slab, leave a gap of 2, oak slab, and then if you connect this back to the house, it just looks like the supports that you would have on the actual house, just like this. The last little bit of detail that we actually have on the back of the build, and trust me, this is the last little bit of detail that exists, is if we start from the bottom right hand corner of this area here, we move left 1, up 1, destroy 2 rows, and then 3 rows to the left, 1, 2, 3, just like this. Fill all this in using some white stained glass pane, and this is all you have. That is literally on the back. There's actually a lot of trash on the back. There's a build-up of trash between like where these two windows are, pretty much sort of in the middle. That is the only bit of detail that I didn't add to the build. When it comes to the left side of the build here, we want to add a door. There's a side entrance. It's kind of like the middle of these rows, the small area. If we start from the little right-hand side here, we move left, we destroy a double gap. This is where a door goes. We even want to have a little step to it, so we're going to use oak wood stairs for this, like that. Okay, leave a gap of 2 above the door, 1, 2, and in this third gap we want to destroy a block, the one above it, leave a gap going left, destroy 2. Above the first window you leave a gap of 1, destroy 2. Above this window you want to move upwards by 4, so by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then want to move left 2, 1, 2, and then we want to move up 1, destroy, and just the one above. So we want to have a set of windows that looks exactly like that, which is looking pretty good, honestly. So we'll fill all these in with glass, and then we'll tackle the other balcony. But this isn't a weird balcony. This is an actual balcony that we're going to be working on. So I don't know why we didn't start with this, to be quite honest with you. But on the left side here, if we start from the very bottom back corner of the build, and we find the 7th block moving up, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Move right 1, place 2 light blue concrete, 1, 2 extending outwards, and then all the way to the right like this. Add another row on top, and then fill the base of this in using some light blue concrete. We want to add supports underneath this. This is very easy to do. You leave a gap of 1 moving inwards from both sides. As a matter of, we'll start from the outward row. You leave a gap of 1 inward coming in from both sides like this, and you place an oak slab. And then you just want to leave a gap of 2 between these slabs, and then the one in the middle like this, so it's all quite even. And then if you just place a row of oak slabs that connects back to the house like this, kind of like diagonally, you've achieved pretty much what we need to do. Above the balcony there's 2 windows. The window starts kind of like 1 row inwards from the balcony, so starting from the left side we move 1 row in, destroy row of 3, we then leave a gap of 2, destroy a row of 1, destroy a row all the way up above, and this is going to be the windows. It's as easy as that. So we just want to have something which should look like that. What we now have to do is we have to make a final set of windows. I do believe that this is the final set of windows just to the right here. So I don't think that there's any on the garage, but there is here. So on this side, we're going to start all the way down at the bottom left-hand corner. We're going to move right 1, and then up by, we want to find the 4th block coming up now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, destroy 2 blocks, gap of 1 going up, destroy 2 blocks, destroy 2 blocks going right, gap of 1, destroy 2. We then, above this little 2x3 window here, we're going to leave a gap of 1, and then we're going to have a 2x3 window just like this. And then we're going to fill all of this in using some white stained glass pane, just like so. So all of this completely wants to be filled in using white stained glass pane, like this. And that's pretty much that. So now that we have done all of that, ladies and gentlemen, we should be left with this. Oh boy, has this been a long build, but absolutely worth it when it does come down to it. Very, very worth it. So what we're going to be doing next, we're going to be doing all of the roofs. So let me just clear my inventory a little bit. Not to say that we're not going to need any of this stuff, but we will be later. We're going to clean it. For some absolutely strange, bizarre reason, I don't have the acacia that I need. We will need a lot of acacia planks, and it's actually going to be easier if we also have the acacia wood slabs. Don't worry, they will have absolutely been in the item list. They are absolutely 100% needed. I don't know why I don't have them on me. We have the acacia planks and we have the acacia slabs now. We will be needing some light blue concrete and probably some other stuff too, but we'll leave it at that for the moment. So once more, we are now going to be placing, oh, and also for a few parts we need the acacia wood stairs. We're now going to be placing all of the roofs that exist around the house. And also, if we can grab the white stained glass block, I'm sorry that there's a lot of alsos, guys. We need acacia planks, acacia slabs, light blue concrete, acacia stairs, and white stained glass. We're going to be placing white stained glass inside the empty gaps of the garage, just like this. We're going to be placing a row of acacia wood stairs above the garage. That's just a nice little overhang, a nice little roof. We're going to be placing a roof above the porch. This is achieved by placing acacia slabs extending from the house that line up with the two fence that we have at the top of the porch, and then we take the acacia slabs and we extend them inwards and upwards in a very linear fashion until they eventually join together in the middle at the top. We then want to just place we want to place a blend of acacia planks and acacia slabs that will just join the top of the roof here to the actual house, just like that. Now that you've done that, what we're now going to do is we're going to do a little roof for the garage area. So this all starts pretty much in the same way. The slabs start on the sides of the top of the garage. The slabs extend forwards one row. We then want to extend these slabs upwards and inwards on both sides. They will eventually connect together in the middle in some way, shape and form. I'm pretty sure that these join to a single point, but a lot of the slabs will join together in a double point. So we just want to have something which should look like this. We're just doing the outline of that one for the moment because that extends and joins backwards a little bit to something else. The same can be said up here. Above where we have this like little balcony area, we want to do the same thing. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be placing the acacia slabs on the sides. We're going to extend them forward so they overhang the front of the build, and then we're going to just extend them inwards and upwards until they eventually join. You will notice that the balcony area here is mallined with the roof. It's supposed to be, so don't worry about it. I know it looks weird, but this is the way that Mr. Peterson built his house, I guess, so I don't know why. I wouldn't have made that choice, but he did. That's what we want to have at the moment. That's looking pretty good. There is a small roof, and this one's ever so slightly strange. So the roof above this part that kind of sticks out, it actually starts by... How do I describe this exactly? Start off by placing like an acacia wood plank left and right of the top of the build here. We want to then place acacia slabs on the sides of the planks like this. The slabs want to extend forwards, and then you can see that we can start just extending these slabs inwards and upwards in the same fashion. This will of course once again kind of like come to a central point right in the top middle, so just like that. We then want to place some light blue concrete, and this one's very easy. This one just extends backwards just like this. There we go, just like that. That's looking great. Perfect. We want to then take this area just up above, and this has a very, very large roof, but it's the exact same thing. It's the acacia slabs on the left and right sides like this. No funny business this time, and we just extend them inwards and upwards. And I believe that this one will join in kind of like a very satisfying way. It will join above where the middle of the windows would connect, so just below here, I do believe. So this one's actually quite a nice one to place. I like it when things kind of like line up nicely in a perfect manner. Oh, thank goodness that actually worked. And then we can fill underneath the roof in here using light blue concrete, and we will once again we'll leave this a little bit. Or is this one? No, we'll just make all the outlines and then we'll make sure that everything connects. But there you can see the front of the build's looking pretty good now, isn't it? That's looking pretty good. What about the upper areas here? So this is a strange one. Around the top of here, we actually want to place acacia wood slabs. Okay, so around the top of here we want to place acacia wood slabs, and it does seem to me that I did make a slight mistake in the balcony here. So the balcony should actually be one row higher, as should the doors, as should the lime glass. So if we just move everything up one, this was my bad. I did warn you guys that this might happen. I'm very sorry that we have to move these things, but all of this has to just be jutted one row upward. But other than that, it's the exact same thing. Absolutely my bad. I had a feeling that we were going to have to do that, but if you just replicate exactly what we had, just here, the fence extending out just like this. Perfect. Okay, so we then can extend the acacia slabs across to the left. You can see they're just half a row below the balcony. We were so close with it. I really do wish that we would have just, you know, done it properly the first time, but my bad. Those acacia slabs will actually go all the way to the left there, and it will join in that position. And not only that, we also want to extend the acacia wood slabs. They actually want to extend and hang off the back of the house here. And they want to go all the way around. So you can see there's a slight gap here, but that'll actually get solved. This will go all the way around the side of the house like this. It doesn't form to the shape of the house like you imagine it will. The slabs hang off the side of the house like this. I want to make sure that I get this right. Perfect. And the slabs actually want to join to this part. So this high part that we have on the right side of the house that sticks out a decent amount, it actually wants to join all the way here. Like so. It wants to go all the way around, and it just wants to come around the top of this point because, and this will make sense if you look at it, from a bird's eye view, it's actually a rectangle, right? It's actually a rectangle, so it actually makes a lot more sense than you might have thought it did. So you just want to form a giant rectangle. I'm just going to show you that again. You can see it just kind of like ignores the parts. It just ignores the shape of the house and it just turns into a rectangle. We have to fill the tops of these parts in using acacia slabs. We also have to make, funnily enough, where I'm filling this in, so we'll be adding it in a second, we want to add some supports for the roof. So you know this back left-hand corner part that's actually got a pretty decent large chunk of space here. We actually want to, and we'll be needing the planks for this, I'm pretty sure. We want to make some supports, and these supports are actually like, it doesn't matter specifically. If we start from the right side here with pretty much like the edge of the roof, and you move one row inwards, you can't place an oak wood slab, but what you can do is you can destroy the roof and put a plank there. Gap of one, plank, gap of one, plank. And then you're actually able to place a set of, my bad, I keep doing this wrong, a set of oak slabs that join to the roof. So just like this, and like so. So you just want to place the oak slabs, they will join to the roof like that, underneath, and it just kind of holds the roof up. It's just like a really cool bit of detail that's actually existent in the house. I've not made it for the fun of it. That's how it's supposed to look. We can turn that into an acacia slab instead of a plank. I don't know how that happened. And we just want to fill in all of these gaps. And there's just one little part of the roof that will, there's a couple of things actually that we have to do as I look at it, but this is kind of what we have at the moment. So we've got a few roofs here and there. We've got the big large sort of, the big large roof to contend with a little bit later. This area has its very own roof as well. So the highest point, the green window room, has its own roof. And once again, I don't have to explain this to you, I don't think. It's the exact same pattern, oh my bad, it's the exact same pattern of roof that we've had all along. So you place the acacia slabs, you have them extend them forwards, and then you eventually just join them all to meet in the middle all the way up at the top. So like this. You will find that once again the balcony is malaligned. Mr. Peterson does not like things to be symmetrical apparently. So there's this part of the roof, funnily enough, one of the only ones that you can actually do it to. This will extend backwards, of course. It'll be the same on the back as it is the front, and we'll just be able to join all just front to back, just like so. So here, we'll extend it in and up and in and up and in and up, and eventually it will just join like so. We'll have the light blue concrete like this here. Perfect. That is looking excellent. The next thing that we have to do as well is we have to think about the little side roof. So this is actually just the last individual roof that we have to think about. So there's a roof on the side here, and it starts right up at the top, and once again it's the acacia slabs. We want to extend it forwards, and this time we actually just want to extend the slabs in and up and in and up and in and up and in and up and in and up. Eventually it will join to the side of the build, just kind of like this. So there we go, that's perfect. This roof will extend backwards. We'll have to fill underneath this in using some light blue concrete. We'll actually do that now. We'll place some light blue concrete here, here, and here. And yes, that's looking great. So whether you realize it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that's actually the hard bit completely done. All of the roofs are in place now. We've just got to join them all together. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And I'll do it with you because it's, you know, it can sometimes be a little bit tricky to do these things. So we'll start with above the garage. Above the garage here, and I would always recommend with these styles of roofs that incorporate the slabs, every other block is a plank. So do the planks first, place the slabs around it. It'll be much easier to do it. So we just want to place all of the planks extending back here and the slabs in between. And we want to have slabs here as well. And we'll just have to, and you're going to have to do some filling in too. So like this area here will be completely filled in using the light blue concrete, just like this. And we want to place some acacia slabs here, here, and here. That's looking pretty good. So you can see that little garage roof there just extends backwards very naturally. This roof, this roof is the same way. So we'll start with the slabs here just on the side, but then we'll quickly shift to the planks. These are going to hit an imaginary wall. The wall is going to come back as far as we place these slabs here. So you just want to figure out how far the slabs have been placed on the side, so they stop there. The roof wants to stop in the same way as well. So again, we'll do the planks. We'll then fill. We might fill the. No, we'll completely do the roof, and then we will. We'll completely do the roof, and then we will place the wall behind it. It's probably just easier. So here and here, and here. And here as well. That's perfect. As a matter of fact, I think we've extended them one row further backwards than we needed to, which wouldn't be a problem at all. It'll just make placing the roof just slightly trickier than I would have liked it. So these slabs can get extended across as well. As soon as you're actually in a good position to do it sideways, you'll be able to double the speed that you can actually place them. Like extending that, having to like keep going all the way back to the front like you're a typewriter or something is actually a little bit tricky. So we can do that here, and then we can just do it from the side, can't we? So just like this here, here, and here. Excellent. So this area just wants to be, so this area is quite a big area. So we'll start from the side of the roof, and we'll just place some light blue concrete around it, and we'll join it all the way around the back as well. And the light blue concrete, we just want to join this back wall up here to the top. We want to join the side wall up to the top as well. And it's just going to look good. It's just going to look really, really, really good. So here on the side, and then here as well. And all of this, this big blank empty space here, just be completely filled in. That is looking fantastic. I love that. That looks awesome. Perfect. So now that we've done that, we might as well do this little top roof here as well. This has to be just completely just joined front to back using your acacia planks and then your slabs. Do you see how repetitive this is? I'm sorry that it is repetitive, but I mean, you know, this house it's got a lot of roof. There's a lot of roof here. It's all the same thing, but actually it's not all the same thing. There are a few different styles, which is pretty cool actually, but that has to be filled in. We're saving the big one till last. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but the big one's going to be saved till last. We've already done this here, so what we can do now is we can just extend these acacia slabs backwards here. They want to overhang this little small part of the house, and then these slabs want to extend in and up and in and up and in and up until we hit this point. Light blue concrete here, and then we want to place acacia wood planks extending front and back. We'll have to fill in a little part of the roof here. Oh, we've got to also extend back that part of the roof as well. This will actually join to, it might actually be easier to do the big part of the roof and then have that extend back, or at least do half of it and then like do another half afterwards. You'll see what I mean when we get there. So this wants to be here, here, here. Goes much further down than I thought it did here, and then just behind this we want to place some light blue concrete That is looking great. Perfect. So that's all filled in as well. Yeah, what we'll do, so here, this has to be extended back. So we just have to extend back these 2 top rows of light blue concrete like this, because then that will allow us to place our acacia slabs. We're going to extend the acacia slabs and the acacia planks not that far back. Basically, where the roof starts here, we're just going to extend them that far back. So pretty much like where the first row of the large roof is, we're going to extend them that far back. We'll join it together once the large part of the roof has been done. So the large part of the roof is luckily very, very easy to do. It's just a little bit tedious because it's quite big, and it's big. That's it. That's why it's tedious. There's no other reason. It's just big. It's very, very simple though. So we're just going to place all of these slabs in everything, and it'll be very easy to connect to because we can just use the acacia slabs. We won't have to destroy any part of the roof. When we get to it, it'll actually just join together, hopefully rather magically, using slabs. So that's what we want to have so far. So that's all of the roofs done. I don't think we've missed any. I'm going to take a very quick look because I don't know. Yeah, there's no roofs on the back here, the side, pretty much everything is done except this big, large, flat roof up at the top. And all we do is so simple, so simple. These will actually get in the way. So we have a big giant rectangular shape for the acacia roof, right? Well, we play basically half a row higher using acacia slabs, half a row higher, a full row inwards, half a row higher. We want to place the same rectangle of acacia slabs, but it's slightly smaller. That's all there is to it. So it's as easy as that, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that it's the same thing, but once again, it's just half a row shorter. So that doesn't want to be there. We don't want anything getting in the way, and it's really, really easy to do. It's basically just this, but going on and on and on and on. Eventually, it will actually reach a point where it's like I think it may try and join to the bottom of the roof for the green window, the shiny window area. We'll stop that happening if that happens. So I'm going to stick in here with you, and yeah, it's just this. It's half a row higher every time. It's actually a very slow, very slow. It's not steep at all climb. It's if that part of the house wasn't there, it'd actually be a little bit easier to place as well. But you know, it's we've just got to negotiate with all of the space that we have available. So here. I don't know if it will actually get to the point, because I'm pretty sure at a certain point I make the roof flat. I'm going by memory because I don't actually have a shot of this from my plans, so I destroy that. I don't actually have a shot of this from my plans, but here, and then I actually can't even work it out from the side because obviously the roof, it's going to reach a point. Maybe what we'll do is we'll see how high it does go. It might not go too much higher. We'll make sure that it at least reaches the top of the roof that we have on the front, like above the entrance area. We'll make sure that it lines up with that, and then we may just make it a flat roof. So we'll extend this inwards like this just to give us a bit of a border, and then we'll make it flat. Yeah, so it's got one more row in it. Otherwise, I think it will just I think it will actually try and join to the bottom of the shiny light window. So I actually don't know. It's actually going to be a close call. I actually don't know whether it would work out that way. Here, yeah, but we will just make it flat. So just out of curiosity, so there was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it actually joins. So at the point in which the front of the roof can actually join to this, we'll just make it flat. We'll just flatten the top, and then it will look great. I did think that it kept going and going and going until eventually you just ran out of rows, but that would actually be impossible because then it'd connect and then it'd look weird. So it wants to just join there. That's looking great. Here, 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 here as well. Here. And you can see it's so easy when everything slabs because everything just magically joins together. It's almost like Lego bricks, not even Lego bricks, something even more satisfying. Like you can just join them and join them and join them and join them. You can just keep building them, almost like snow, kind of like playing with snow or something. But yeah, that is what the roofs want to look like, ladies and gentlemen, once they're all done. And you can see that is the... Oh boy, is that the house. That is awesome. that looks so cool. There is a little bit left that we have to do. So what we're now going to do is we're going to grab ourselves the smooth stone slabs, birch fence, bone meal. And first of all, in front of the garage, there's a slight, like, piece of stone for some reason. We're going to stack 2 rows of stone slabs on top of each other at the top of the garage. We're then going to place a row of stone slabs in front, so kind of like in a little gradient. We're going to place a fence around the house. The fence isn't going to be in 2 places, so leave say like a gap of 1, 2, 3, 4 between the house and the fence. The fence is... There's a little bit of a fence between here and the garage. The entire garage is like it's got a drive, so you don't want to place anything in front of where the smooth stone is, and probably 1 row to the side of it. The fence wants to start again, and it wants to probably stick out the house maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4 rows here. So it's just going to be a birch fence that goes all the way around other than that, so you can see where these gaps are. We'll make sure that it clears the house by about, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's, you know, 3, 4 rows, just so that you can walk around it. There's actually not much space to walk around the actual house. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or so. And the fence itself is actually white as well, but it's kind of like a picket fence, kind of like what we're using now. So we compromise by using birch, but it should actually be white. You could even use, say, slabs or perhaps like a mixture of quartz stairs and stuff to kind of like make that picket sort of shape if you wanted to. But a fence kind of just looking a little bit like that looks pretty good. It's very overgrown inside the property as well, so you may just want to add some... You may want to add some bone meal around the outside. As I said, there's a buildup of trash out here, so depending upon how crazy you're feeling, depending upon how detail orientated you're feeling, you could use a big mixture of brown boxes, because I think it's mostly wooden stuff. There's in between these 2 windows pretty much there's like again it's just some, you can actually climb over it in the game. There's just like a little bit of a barricade. We'll continue bone mealing. Obviously there's a few more things. There's actually a tree outside the house. There's bins, there's other rubbish and stuff. There might even be a radio, I want to say. I actually can't remember going by memory, but there's all sorts of other stuff, but we're just pretty much just focusing on the house. And there is also a car. I don't know whether you guys would like to make the car or not, since it's not a particular part of the house, but if you did want to make the car, let me just clear all these materials because we don't even need them. I'm just going to grab these off the top of my head. These won't be in the item list, or maybe they will. We'll need red wool. We'll need red carpet, I do believe. We'll need white carpet as well. We'll need some grey concrete. We will need some black stained glass pane. We'll need ourselves some stone buttons. I always like to use tripwire hooks for like a catch release for the boot or the trunk, depending upon where you're from in the world. We'll need some item frames as well. We'll also need some... This might be the last material. Oh no, we'll need ladders, and we'll need a white block for the headlights as well. But okay, so we'll start from the back and we'll move forwards. Right in the middle of the garage here, I'm going to leave, say, like a gap of 1, and I'm going to place a row of 1, 2, 3 red wool extending out in front. And by the way, the garage is not like a stone driveway or anything. It's just like grass. A row of red wool, grey concrete's on the end, red in the middle. 2 rows of red in front of that row, red in the middle, grey concrete on the left and right, red wool in front. We want to place red wool on top of the back 2 wheels, glass in between, 2 rows of glass in between the wall, or extending forwards in front of the wall, join them together in the middle, red wool on top of, my bad, that is not wool, red wool on top of all of the front of the car, the back of the car, in the middle of the car. It has a white roof, so we're going to be using white carpet for this. Like so, like that. We're going to make a catch release for the boot. That's tripwire hooks. We're not going to bother with the back lights. although you can if you want, I guess. Item frames with red wool in them will actually make alright lights. We can place buttons inside of each one of the 4 wheels, and we can place a ladder up front right in the middle, item frames left and right of the ladder. All we've got to do now is get any sort of white block. I quite like block of iron for the headlights, and boom, that is the car. It goes together very, very nicely with the house. The house is huge, it is massive, one person shouldn't live in it. I certainly don't know what they're doing in it. I mean, I do, I think that you guys do too. But that is the house, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll tell you what, I think that I'm going to cover up all of the windows using some black concrete. I don't think I'm going to do anything else. And I'll show you what the entire house looks like once it's all done. Hopefully you guys are looking at the exact same thing since we've built it together. So this is what your house will look like once it has been 100% fully completed. We have all of the rooms connected, we have all of the windows done, we have the structure of the house complete, we even have a little bit of a mess in the back garden as there is in the actual house. We have all of the weird strange balconies and goings on around the house that we need. We even have the mysterious glowing window up at the top, and of course we even have the car as well. I do hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me and the channel out very, very much. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And if you want to make anything else by me, I have made a lot of Hello Neighbour related tutorials. Check out the card system description below in the top of the comment section for more. I've made loads of the houses. I'm sure that you guys would love to make some of the others if this is your first. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.